Hi guys, Black is here. Hey, listen, I was watching a video the other day, and some guy was talking about if you have a car and during the summertime when you have the air conditioning on, the air conditioning is not working well. Well, actually, he was talking about how if the high side pressure is too high because your clutch fan is not pumping enough air. It's not sucking enough air through the radiator. He was talking about adding an electric fan to help this stock fan clutch. And I'm thinking to myself, instead of adding an electric fan, and he was talking about how to drill a hole into your AC line and put a high pressure switch to kick on this auxiliary fan, I'm thinking, instead of going through all that hassle, why don't you just replace the clutch fan? You know, in this particular video, he was talking about a Dodge Dakota. All right, now, pretty much any car made in the last 30 years, if it runs hot when the air conditioner is on, or the air conditioner don't work well in the summertime, it's probably a bad clutch fan. Now, I remember in the old days, you know, my mother had a 784 LTD station wagon with a 400. It used to run hot if you sat in one spot with the air conditioner on. But if you stepped on the gas a little bit, sped the engine up, it would got a little more airflow and it would cool back down. But again, that was in 1978. Like I said, the last 30 years, most cars can sit in one spot and not run hot, and the air conditioning will run fine. But if it's not, instead of going through the house of putting an electric fan, why don't you just replace the clutch fan? I mean, clutch fans do wear out. You know, I'll give you an example. I bought a 92 Ford Explorer, regular cab. It was a two-door Ford Explorer with the 4.0. And when I got it, the air conditioning didn't work. Surprisingly, all I had to do was charge the damn thing, and the air conditioning worked. And the funny thing was, it came with the what do you call it back then? R12 back then. I bought an adapter from Napa, put some 134 in it, and the damn thing worked. Now, the only problem I had was when you ride down the road, the air conditioning was cool, right? When you pull up to a red light, or if you sat in one spot too long, the air conditioning will start to get a little, not hot, but a little less cool inside, right? And I realized it wouldn't run hot. It was just the air conditioning, again, didn't get cold standing still. Well, I realized it needed a clutch fan. So I went to pull apart, got a used clutch fan off another Ford Explorer, put it on, and the air conditioning did not have that problem anymore. Now, the only other car I've had with this problem was my Trailblazer. When I first got it in 2008, it had 65,000 miles on the damn thing, right? I remember when I test drove it at the lot, the air conditioning didn't seem to cool down that fast, but once we got to moving, it cooled down really well. So I didn't really think much about it. I thought it was just the car was hot, you know, sitting in one spot. Well, after having the car for a while, I noticed that when you, just like if you drive somewhere, the air conditioning working fine, just say you stop, go inside, eat lunch, come back out, crank the car up, the air conditioning did not work well until you got to going constantly. Well, anyway, the clutch fan was bad. So I had read some stuff online or whatever. People said that buy the clutch fan from GM, it'll last long. And I think the thing was like $380. But I bought it from GM, put it on. I don't remember how long it lasts, but since then I've replaced it probably about 2 or 3 times. And I bought the clutch fan from GM that time. The rest of them I didn't. I bought them from wherever. The last couple ones I bought have been off eBay. I don't know, I spent either $50 or $80 for them or something like that. They don't last very long. It's got that electromagnetic clutch fan. It's a clutch fan driven off the engine, but it's got wires running to it, and it's controlled by the computer. And like right now, I drive to work and I'm in stop and go traffic, and then sometime I have to cut the AC button off because the car, it starts to run hot, you know. And the funny thing is the air conditioning working fine, but the car started to run hot. And the reason it's running hot is I made a video where I showed people, you know, the condenser sit in front of your main radiator. So when you turn the air conditioner on, your air compressor's freon, the freon gets really hot. It sends it through that condenser, and the heat coming off that condenser hits your main radiator. And so if it's hot outside and the main radiator is getting hot air from that condenser, if it's not flowing enough air, your car will run hot. So that's what's going on with my car. I need another clutch fan. Now some people say, well, why don't you just put an electric fan on? You don't have to worry about it. I don't like doing aftermarket stuff to my cars. I prefer them to run the way they came from the factory. Now, if it also, there's no room in front, you know, in front of the condenser and the bumper, I don't think there's enough room. There's not enough room to put a fan. I could probably put one, I might be able to put a thin one inside the radiator between the original clutch fan and the radiator, but it would be a hassle. I don't feel like going to the hassle. I would rather just replace the clutch fan again. I mean, I usually get about 2 years out of them. It's not real hard to replace them. I actually replaced one, I think about 2 or 3 years ago. It was since I moved in this house. But anyway, have any questions, comments, leave them. Dre, y'all have a good day.